Are you eating less, walking every day, maybe cutting down on sugar? Yet that stubborn belly fat just refuses to budge, especially after 50. You're not alone. So many people feel frustrated, blaming their slowing metabolism or thinking it's all down to genetics. But what if the real problem isn't visible in the mirror? What if the danger is hidden deep inside your body, silently building where you can't see it? That's the problem with visceral fat. The fat that wraps itself around critical organs like your liver, pancreas, and even your heart. Unlike the fat you can pinch under your skin, visceral fat isn't harmless. It's active, dangerous, and closely linked to serious health risks like heart attacks, diabetes, dementia, and even premature aging itself. Understanding this hidden threat is the first step toward reversing it. As you approach your 50s, your body starts to shift hormonally. Insulin, the hormone responsible for regulating blood sugar, becomes less efficient. Cortisol, the stress hormone, rises due to poor sleep and constant pressure. Meanwhile, your liver, the organ that processes sugar and fat, begins to get overwhelmed. When this happens, fat stops accumulating under your skin and instead is pushed deep into your organs, quietly doing the most harm. And here's the catch. No amount of crunches, cardio, or low-fat dieting can fix this if you're not addressing the real cause. That's why, in this video, we're going to explore a proven natural approach to melting visceral fat by tackling the root issues: liver overload, insulin resistance, sluggish mitochondria, and hormonal imbalance. By the end, you'll know exactly how to turn the fat switch off and activate your body's natural fat-burning system. Let's start by debunking a common misconception. Many people assume belly fat is purely the result of overeating or inactivity. But if that were true, wouldn't everyone over 50 who walks daily and diets religiously be slim and healthy? Yet countless people remain overweight, despite doing everything right. That's because visceral fat isn't about calories. It's about hormones and liver health. Think of your liver as the metabolic kitchen of your body. Everything you eat, sugar, protein, fat, alcohol, even medications, passes through it first. When you're young, this kitchen operates smoothly, clean, efficient, flexible. But over the years, stress, processed foods, alcohol, and constant snacking overwhelm it. Imagine a sink full of dirty dishes with no room left to wash another plate. That's your liver. After years of overload, eventually it can't keep up. Fat starts to accumulate not just in the liver itself, leading to fatty liver disease, but also around organs, your pancreas, intestines, and heart. This is visceral fat. And here's the frightening part. It doesn't just sit idly by. It acts like a toxic organ, releasing chemicals that cause inflammation, raise blood pressure, and disrupt hormone function. Over time, insulin resistance increases, making it even harder for your body to burn fat. This brings us to an important realization. Calories aren't the real enemy. Insulin is. Insulin is the hormone that tells your body to store fat, particularly around your organs. Every time you eat, even a healthy meal, insulin rises. Frequent meals, sugary snacks, refined carbs, alcohol, and even too much fruit can keep insulin elevated all day, preventing fat burning. According to research published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation, fasting insulin directly correlates with increased visceral fat and fatty liver, even in people who aren't overweight. The solution isn't just eating less, it's eating smarter. You must stop grazing all day and allow your liver time to process stored fat. That's where fasting comes in. You also need to eliminate foods that overwhelm the liver: sugar, processed carbs, seed oils, and alcohol. These steps give your liver the space to function properly and your metabolism a chance to recover. Understanding these processes is the key to working with your body, not against it. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the real fat switch in your body, insulin. You'll learn exactly how it controls fat storage and how to turn it off so your body can begin burning fat naturally again. Let's talk about the real switch that determines whether your body burns fat or stores it: insulin. You could be exercising every day, carefully counting calories, and trying to eat clean meals. But if your insulin levels remain high most of the time, your body will stay locked in fat storage mode. Imagine pressing the gas pedal in a car while the vehicle is still in park. The engine is running. You're using effort, but the car isn't moving forward. That's exactly what happens when insulin stays elevated. So, what is actually happening inside your body? Think of insulin as the gatekeeper of your fat cells. Every time you eat, especially foods rich in sugar or refined carbohydrates, your insulin levels rise. Its main role is to move glucose or sugar from your bloodstream into your cells so it can be used for energy. But when there's more glucose than your muscles need, insulin redirects the extra to your liver. There, it's converted into fat and stored, often around your internal organs. This is how visceral fat quietly begins to build up. The real problem appears when insulin stays high throughout the entire day. Frequent snacking, sugary breakfast, late night meals, constant stress, and refined carbohydrates keep insulin elevated for hours at a time. When that happens, your body never receives the signal that it's safe to burn stored fat. It's like keeping a closed sign hanging on the door of your fat-burning system. You may feel like you're doing everything right, but biologically, your body is still being instructed to store fat rather than burn it. A major study published in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology confirmed something very important. Researchers found that chronically elevated insulin levels directly contribute to visceral fat buildup and fatty liver disease, even when people are not consuming excessive calories. In other words, someone can eat relatively healthy foods, yet still accumulate harmful fat if their insulin switch remains stuck in the on position. So the goal isn't simply to eat less food. The real goal is to lower insulin more often. There's a simple way to understand this. High insulin means fat storage. Low insulin allows fat burning. The encouraging news is that you can naturally lower insulin with a few straightforward daily habits. The first step is to stop grazing throughout the day. Instead of eating 5 or 6 small meals with snacks in between, aim for 2 or 3 proper meals. Every snack, no matter how small, triggers another insulin spike. Even foods marketed as healthy, like granola bars or fruit smoothies, can keep insulin elevated. When you allow longer gaps between meals, insulin has time to fall, giving your body the chance to access stored fat for energy. The second habit is delaying your first meal of the day. A later breakfast or occasionally skipping it keeps insulin low for longer in the morning. This allows your body to activate its natural fat-burning rhythm, rather than immediately switching back into storage mode. The third habit is avoiding sugary breakfasts. Many common morning foods, cereal, flavored coffee drinks, fruit juice, sweet yogurt, and pastries send insulin soaring right after you wake up. Instead, start your day with foods that stabilize blood sugar. Protein, healthy fats, and fiber work best. Eggs, avocado, nuts, and leafy vegetables provide steady energy without triggering a dramatic insulin spike. Another important step is limiting refined carbohydrates and added sugars whenever possible. White bread, pastries, soda, fruit juices, and even many so-called energy bars can cause sharp insulin spikes. Whole, minimally processed foods are far gentler on your metabolism and keep insulin levels more stable. Timing also matters. Try to avoid eating late at night. Your body's insulin sensitivity naturally decreases in the evening, meaning food eaten close to bedtime is far more likely to be stored as fat. Finishing dinner at least 3 hours before sleep can make a significant difference over time. Here's a powerful idea to remember. Insulin works like a light switch. When it's on, fat burning turns off. But when insulin levels drop, your body finally gains access to the energy stored in your fat cells. Most people unknowingly spend nearly the entire day in fat storage mode simply because their insulin never gets a chance to rest. But once you begin lowering those constant spikes, even small lifestyle adjustments can lead to noticeable changes in how your body feels and functions. And this leads us to the next crucial piece of the puzzle, the organ that quietly controls much of this entire process, your liver. Many people focus on calories, workouts, and diets, but they rarely think about the organ that actually decides how food is processed inside the body. The liver is more than just a filter for toxins. It acts as the central metabolic factory that determines whether your body burns fat for energy or stores it for later. When your liver is clean, healthy, and functioning efficiently, your metabolism runs smoothly. Fat is broken down and used as fuel. Blood sugar remains balanced, and energy levels stay steady throughout the day. But when the liver becomes overloaded, inflamed, or filled with fat, everything changes. Metabolism slows down, insulin begins to rise, and stubborn belly fat slowly starts accumulating around your organs. The surprising truth is that many people struggling with weight after the age of 50 are actually dealing with an overworked liver without even realizing it. Your liver is one of the most hardworking organs in your body. Every single day, it performs more than 500 vital functions. It detoxifies chemicals from your bloodstream, regulates blood sugar levels, produces bile to help digest fats, stores important vitamins and minerals, and helps manufacture cholesterol and certain hormones your body needs to function properly. But one of its most important jobs is converting stored fat into ketones. Ketones are a clean burning fuel that both your brain and muscles can use for energy. When this system works properly, your body becomes efficient at switching between burning food and burning stored fat. However, problems begin when the liver becomes overwhelmed. Years of consuming excess sugar, refined carbohydrates, alcohol, processed foods, and inflammatory seed oils place a heavy burden on the liver. Constant snacking throughout the day gives the organ almost no no time to rest or recover. Eventually, the liver begins storing fat rather than burning it. Over time, this condition can develop into fatty liver disease. What makes this particularly concerning is how common it has become. Today, more than 30% of adults are estimated to have fatty liver disease, often without any noticeable symptoms. Many people assume this condition only affects individuals who are overweight, but that's not always true. Even people who appear slim can develop a fatty liver if their metabolic health is poor. When the liver begins to struggle, the effects spread throughout the entire body. Insulin levels start climbing higher because the liver can no longer process glucose efficiently. Blood sugar becomes unstable, rising and falling more dramatically. Metabolism slows down, making it harder to burn calories and fat. You may begin feeling unusually tired during the day, mentally foggy, or bloated after meals. Digestion can worsen as bile production drops, which may lead to discomfort, constipation, or poor fat digestion. At the same time, hormones gradually fall out of balance, and slowly, almost unnoticed, visceral fat begins forming around your internal organs. It acts like a protective shield the body creates when the metabolic system is under stress. The encouraging part is that the liver has an incredible ability to heal itself when given the right support. You don't need expensive detox programs, extreme cleanses, or complicated supplements to help it recover. In fact, most of those solutions are unnecessary. Instead, 3 simple science-based steps can begin restoring liver function naturally. The first step is giving your liver a regular fasting window. When you stop eating for 14 to 16 hours, insulin levels drop and the liver finally gets time to catch up on its work. During this period, it begins clearing out toxins, processing stored fat, and improving metabolic efficiency. This is not about starvation. It's about giving your digestive system a break so your body can shift into repair mode. The second step is removing the substances that overload the liver in the first place. Reducing sugary drinks, alcohol, processed foods, and deep-fried oils can dramatically decrease the burden placed on this organ. Even unnecessary medications, when taken frequently, can add extra strain. The third step is feeding your liver foods that actively support its recovery. Nature already provides many powerful compounds that help the liver detoxify and function more efficiently. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, and cabbage contain nutrients that assist in liver detoxification pathways. Starting your morning with lemon water can gently stimulate digestion. Adding turmeric, garlic, and beets to meals helps support healthy bile flow and detox processes. Omega-3 rich foods such as salmon and flax seeds also help reduce liver inflammation. And interestingly, moderate consumption of black coffee has been shown to support healthy liver enzyme activity. To visualize this, imagine your liver as a highway. When the road is clear, traffic flows smoothly, nutrients move where they need to go, hormones remain balanced, and fat can be burned efficiently. But when that highway becomes clogged, everything slows down. Fat begins to pile up, toxins linger longer than they should, and energy levels begin to fall. When you clear that metabolic highway, your body begins functioning the way it was designed to. And once your liver starts working efficiently again, insulin sensitivity improves, inflammation drops, and fat around your organs gradually begins to shrink. This brings us to another powerful factor in the fat burning process, one that works mostly while you sleep. In the next part, we'll explore the role of human growth hormone and how it helps your body burn visceral fat overnight while repairing and rebuilding your tissues. This brings us to a powerful process that many people rarely think about when trying to lose weight. While most people believe fat burning happens mainly during exercise, some of the most important fat burning activity in your body actually takes place while you are asleep. During deep sleep, your body releases one of its most important repair hormones, human growth hormone, often called HGH. This hormone plays a central role in maintaining strength, energy, and metabolic health as you age. Alright, ça pensé, it's a surprise. You can think of HGH as your body's overnight maintenance team while you rest. It works quietly behind the scenes, repairing tissues, rebuilding cells, and restoring balance throughout the body. One of its most important functions is breaking down visceral fat, especially the kind that gathers around the belly and liver. But its role doesn't stop there. Human growth hormone also helps build and preserve lean muscle, strengthens bones, repairs organs and skin, improves metabolic function, and supports brain health. In many ways, HGH is one of the key reasons some people maintain vitality and energy well into later decades of life. However, there is an important challenge that begins relatively early in adulthood. After the age of 30, the body slowly begins producing less growth hormone each year. This decline continues gradually, and by the time many people reach their 50s, HGH levels may be as much as 80% lower than they were in early adulthood. that reduction can have a noticeable impact. Lower growth hormone levels make it easier for fat to accumulate around the abdomen. Muscle mass becomes harder to maintain, energy levels drop, and metabolism slows. Even people who eat reasonably well and stay active may begin noticing stubborn fat that seems resistant to change. Fortunately, this natural decline does not mean the process is completely out of your control. There are several simple habits that can naturally stimulate your body to release more of its own growth hormone without injections, medications, or complicated routines. One of the most effective triggers is intermittent fasting. When you go several hours without eating, insulin levels fall. As insulin decreases, the body begins shifting toward repair and fat burning. During this time, growth hormone production can increase significantly. Research has shown that fasting for 14 to 18 hours may lead to a noticeable rise in HGH levels. In longer fasting periods, the effect can become even stronger. Some studies have found that a 24-hour fast can dramatically elevate growth hormone levels in both men and women. The body interprets the absence of constant food intake as a signal to protect muscle and burn stored fat for energy. Another essential factor for growth hormone release is deep, uninterrupted sleep. Roughly 70% of daily HGH production occurs during the deepest stage of sleep known as slow-wave sleep. This is the stage where the body focuses on physical repair and recovery. Unfortunately, many modern habits interfere with this process. Staying up late, scrolling on phones before bed, sleeping in bright rooms, or eating heavy meals right before sleep can disrupt the body's ability to enter this deep restorative stage. When deep sleep is reduced, growth hormone production also declines. Improving sleep quality can therefore make a meaningful difference in metabolic health. Creating a consistent sleep schedule, reducing screen exposure at night, sleeping in a dark environment, and finishing your final meal at least 3 hours before bedtime can help the body reach deeper sleep cycles more easily. The third natural way to stimulate growth hormone is through high-intensity physical activity. This does not mean long, exhausting workouts. In fact, short bursts of powerful movement can be more effective. Activities such as sprinting, resistance training, or high-intensity interval workouts send strong signals to your muscles and nervous system. These signals trigger the body to release growth hormone to help repair and strengthen tissues. Even a focused 15-minute workout that challenges your muscles can stimulate a meaningful hormonal response. Your body interprets intense physical effort as a need to rebuild stronger, and growth hormone becomes part of that rebuilding process. Together, fasting, quality sleep, and strategic exercise create an environment where your body can naturally increase HGH production. When this hormone begins working efficiently again, fat burning improves, muscle strength increases, and overall energy starts to return. But even with healthy sleep, fasting habits, and exercise, there is another powerful system inside the body that strongly influences whether fat is burned or stored. That system lives inside your digestive tract. Because the bacteria living in your gut, known collectively as the gut microbiome, play a major role in regulating metabolism, inflammation, and even hormonal signals related to fat storage. In the next part, we'll explore how your gut microbiome influences visceral fat, why an unhealthy gut can slow your metabolism, and what simple changes can help restore balance so your body becomes more efficient at burning fat naturally. Now, let's turn our attention to a system inside your body that many people overlook when trying to lose weight. Yet, it has enormous influence over metabolism, hormones, and fat storage. That system is your gut microbiome. Inside your digestive tract live trillions of microscopic organisms, mostly bacteria, that work together in a complex ecosystem. These microbes are not harmful when balanced. In fact, they are essential partners in maintaining your health. They help break down food, produce vitamins, regulate inflammation, influence hormone signals, and even affect how efficiently your body stores or burns fat. Think of your gut microbiome as an internal control center that quietly communicates with nearly every organ in your body. The signals produced by these bacteria travel through the bloodstream and nervous system, shaping everything from appetite and mood to blood sugar control and metabolic speed. When the balance of these microbes is healthy, your body tends to function more smoothly. Beneficial bacteria produce compounds known as short-chain fatty acids. These compounds help reduce inflammation, strengthen the gut lining, and improve insulin sensitivity. In other words, they help your body use energy more efficiently instead of storing it as fat. But when this balance becomes disturbed, a different pattern begins to appear. Poor diet, chronic stress, lack of sleep, antibiotics, and highly processed foods can damage the diversity of gut bacteria. Harmful microbes may begin to dominate while beneficial species decline. This condition is often referred to as gut dysbiosis. When dysbiosis develops, the signals sent by your gut begin to change. Inflammation increases throughout the body. Insulin resistance becomes more likely. Cravings for sugar and refined carbohydrates may intensify. Even the number of calories your body extracts from food can rise. In practical terms, this means the same meal may lead to more fat storage when the microbiome is unhealthy. Researchers have repeatedly observed this pattern. Studies comparing lean individuals with those struggling with obesity have found clear differences in the diversity and composition of gut bacteria. A richer, more diverse microbiome tends to support better metabolic health. Fortunately, improving gut health does not require complicated treatments. In many cases, simple daily habits can gradually restore balance. One of the most important steps is increasing dietary fiber. Fiber is not digested directly by your body, but it becomes food for beneficial gut bacteria. When these microbes ferment fiber, they produce the short-chain fatty acids that support metabolic health. Vegetables such as broccoli, cabbage, carrots, leafy greens, and Brussels sprouts provide excellent sources of fiber. Legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole foods also help nourish beneficial bacteria. Fermented foods can also play a valuable role. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and fermented vegetables introduce helpful bacteria into the digestive system. These foods help increase microbial diversity and strengthen the gut environment. Reducing ultra-processed foods is equally important. Products loaded with refined sugar, artificial additives, and industrial seed oils tend to disrupt the balance of gut bacteria. Over time, these foods can weaken the intestinal barrier and promote inflammation. Hydration also matters more than many people realize. Adequate water intake supports digestion, helps fiber move through the intestines properly, and assists the body in eliminating waste products that could otherwise disturb microbial balance. Another powerful tool for improving gut health is managing stress. Chronic stress can directly alter the microbiome through hormone signals and nervous system activity. Practices such as walking, breathing exercises, meditation, or simply spending time outdoors can help calm the stress response and support healthier gut communication. Sleep also continues to play a role here. Irregular sleep patterns have been shown to disrupt the balance of gut microbes, which in turn affects metabolism and appetite regulation. When these daily habits begin to restore microbial balance, several positive changes often follow. Inflammation decreases, insulin sensitivity improves, digestion becomes smoother, and cravings for sugary foods tend to decline. All of these shifts help create an environment where the body becomes more efficient at burning stored fat rather than protecting it. It's correct. In other words, your gut microbiome is not just helping you digest food, it is actively participating in the regulation of your metabolism. And when that system becomes balanced again, it can support many of the same goals we've been discussing throughout this video. Lower insulin levels, healthier liver, function, improved hormone signals, and gradual reduction of visceral fat. But there is one more important piece of the puzzle that brings all these systems together. Because long-term metabolic health does not come from a single habit. It comes from a set of daily rhythms that work together to support the body. Report.